All right, once again, I'm Patrick from Wiiisdom here. I am very happy to be here this morning, Pacific time, Easter time. I'm usually in London, but now I'm in the French office, so afternoon time. And we are here, of course, to talk about version control and version control management for Tableau. Quick word of introduction before I just, say hello to our speakers here. Everybody here will know that DataFan Europe was last week, and what an event! And somebody here today was here, yeah, what an event! Lots of people, first time in Europe since 2019. It was amazing to see so many people from Tableau, the community. Great keynotes, the innovations for Tableau, the buzz was amazing. So for all of you who could not make it to TC but made it to DataFan, I'm sure you loved it. And please go online and tell everybody at Tableau, we need to do this again in 2025. It was awesome. So yes, at Wiiisdom, of course, we were a sponsor. You can see here some of my colleagues who were there. And it was great to meet so many of you. And talking about amazingness, I am joined by so many great speakers today. And I'd like to say hello, first of all, to Matthew. Matthew is, of course, well, you know what? I will let Matthew say a few words, which we met last week at DataFan. Of course, it was awesome to see you. Matthew, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well, Patrick. It was great to see you. I second that. The event in London was fantastic. The passion for the Tableau community, the innovation and creativity we saw there from customers, community partners, absolutely fantastic. So, and thanks for a chance to get to see you again here virtually.
For sure. And so Matthew who will be doing a really nice introduction of how we work together with version control. But before we go there, Ewald, you and I have a long history. Again, please a few words to introduce yourself for I'm sure only the few people who don't know you.
Well, I'm Ewald Hoffman, and I'm the product manager for embedded analytics at Tableau.
Wow, that was short and sweet, straight to the point. Now, I have an accent. It's a French-Canadian accent. Live in the UK now. Ewald, some people have picked your accent. Where are you from? I know you're from Seattle. You live in Seattle now. Where are you from?
I've lived most of my life in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. Now, before we go to our final speaker, I just discovered something 5 minutes ago. Matthew Miller, would you like to say a few words, please?
Yes, I'd like to say goedemorgen allemaal, because I lived in the Netherlands as well. So we got a lot of European connection here today.
I loved it. Hey, Wald, how was that?
He's perfect.
Excellent. And Russ,
I couldn't do it better myself.
Excellent. Russ, we know we have a bit of difficulty, a technical difficulty with the webcam today, but you with us in speaker and microphone and spirit. So happy to have you today. Yes, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here and to talk about all these exciting things coming up in the Tableau ecosystem.
Well, I am glad to have you all around the globe, different profiles and experience and nationalities. I really love it. Now, just before we go any further, for those of you who have not used a GoToWebinar interface before, you'll see in your little panel, there's a place where you could, where you can put comments in your chats and some questions as well. Please go ahead. We'll make sure we answer questions, if throughout, if it makes sense, but we'll make sure to leave sometimes at the end. Also, this webinar is recorded. We'll be sharing the recording later on. And at the end, there'll be a tiny little, like 20 seconds, super quick little survey about what you've liked and what we can do better and what you'd like to see in the future. We always appreciate your comments, of course, to evolve moving forward. Now, this is not going to be a typical slide-heavy webinar. This is probably the only slide actually where I'd like to say a few words about Wiiisdom, and then we'll go back to our speakers. Now, Wiiisdom, we've been around for 17 years, right? But if there's one thing to remember about who we are a company who do analytics governance for Tableau. Now, governance means plenty of things, and today we are focusing on version control, but the other things that we can, that we can help you, with and work with you is, for instance, the AI potential. Tableau has released amazing capabilities with Tableau Pulse, and now what was called Einstein before, for those of you who remember that word, now it's called agents, but all this is really amazing. And at the end of the day, we need to trust the output of these AI, Gen AI tools and features and product, and yeah, we need to have governance around all that, and Wiiisdom has features for this. Now, for those of you in a more enterprise regulated industries, you want to minimize risk, you want to obviously follow your different regulations, and again, this go with a number of things like automated testing, automated validation, certifying content. So it's really important, and Wiiisdom is there to work with you around this automated validations. Now, being enterprise, being doing analytics at scale, and we'll have a word about that with Matthew in just a minute. And this goes through a number of things, such as lifecycle management, so promoting between environments, regression testing, testing when you change versions, and a number of things like that. So again, Wiiisdom is there to help. At the end of the day, reduce cost, analytics at scale, increase the value of your investment in analytics, make sure you increase adoption. You work so hard, you want to make sure people use Tableau and do even more with it. So again, one thing to remember about Wiiisdom for today, we're here to help you with your data governance strategy, and the focus of the day is introducing version management for Tableau. So going back to Matthew here, and I will stop sharing my screen because this is absolutely not what the objective is. Matthew, you and I spoke about this at length a few days ago at Dreamforce, and even during the summer. It's important for your customers, indeed.
Absolutely. And I was thinking as we talked about this yesterday and prepared for this webinar, I've joked for a long time that a dashboard with a version number in it is not a dashboard, it's an analytical app. But really what that gets to is that the foundation of Tableau originally, and what we're maybe sometimes still best known for, is ad hoc, self-service, blank canvas, explore any data, find an insight. And that's still an enormous part of Tableau's value. It's our foundation. But when I go to customers and ask them, all right, you've seen and understood data, how do you take action on that? What I find is like the enterprise use cases are exactly what you said. It's analytics at scale. It's dashboards that are treated more like apps. I'm thinking of a couple of customers come to mind. One is a manufacturing company who runs all their financial operations on Tableau. Those dashboards are open all day, every day by financial analysts, processing through their backlog of purchase orders. They've got it integrated into their workflow system. That's no mere like self-service experience. That's an analytical app at scale. The governance needs for that kind of a series of analytical apps, dashboards, are much different than just some report I built quickly for a meeting I've got with my boss. And so that's where Wiiisdom comes in. Like what we have now in the Tableau platform as we've evolved over the last 20 years is a rich set of APIs. And so what our partners like Wiiisdom have done, why I love this and why I'm here on this webinar, is because you've made it possible to take those APIs and apply like proper governance to that kind of mission critical content. The other example that comes to mind is a large bank. I think it's one of the largest banks in North America. They have a series of dashboards that are seen daily by the board and by executive leadership. And it goes exactly to what you said about compliance, like the life cycle of those kind of analytical assets, the amount of scrutiny that everything goes over for correctness, the tracking and auditing of who's making changes, lifecycle management, compliance monitoring, all of that is absolutely critical for the usage of those assets. And so that's where these enterprise scale use cases come in, and that's what the capability that we're going to talk about today is so useful for. And so that's coming around now specifically to the Wiiisdom solution. Like, this is why we've partnered with you, is because we know that you have that expertise to build those kind of integrations and capabilities on top of the Tableau platform, so that customers who are pushing Tableau in that direction of enterprise scale have the governance and compliance lifecycle management that they need.
Yes, it's exactly what our ethos and our vision is that, if we think of the last mile, the last kilometer of the journey, is the data is important, data observability is important, the data that goes in of Tableau is critical. A lot of companies are very familiar, have a lot of experience and maturity in doing all this. But what we're saying is, Tableau is amazing for the self-service. End users do not talk to a warehouse. An end user does not talk to a data set. They have a tile, they have a nice visualization, they explore the data, and then they make a decision and then take some actions. Ultimately is what Tableau returns visually that really, really matters. So we're just saying that we just need to continue all the good work done for so many years. We just need to do one layer further and do that inside of analytics. And with Wiiisdom, yes, automated validation and regressions of other things like that, but part of the lifecycle management of the analytics journey is version control, absolutely. And we are very happy that you selected us to implement this feature. Now, if I switch to my next distinguished speaker today, Ewald, you and I have been talking weekly. It sounds like we're an old couple, weekly for a year and a half or something like that. But maybe you want to, talk a little bit more about what you hear, a bit more like Matthew said, what you hear from your customers about the importance of, the regulatory aspect of using Tableau at scale enterprise mode, and what you heard about, yes, what was missing, what could be done better in Tableau, and how we ended up working together as a partnership.
Yeah, I'm even going further back because the reason why we met is because I was looking into how can we deliver analytic ops to our customers. We heard from both enterprise customers as well as ISV, so more developer-oriented scenarios, that they needed to have more control over their life cycle. And so analytic ops really means versioning, test automation, and automated deployments. And automated deployments are already supported by Tableau through our APIs. The test automation was something that I was not aware that we had a partner, and then I found you, and then it was, oh wow, this is really, really good solution, and this is really helping real world use cases. And so that is how we started to talk. And then inside of Tableau, it was, why would we build something ourselves when we have a great partner that is already doing this? And so we rely on Wiiisdom's expertise to basically, if somebody comes along and needs the test automation, to defer them to you. And then the missing piece of that analytic ops is version management. And we got a lot of requests from our enterprises who are in the regulated industries. And one little story was a tech company. They made a claim in an advertisement, and after 5 years, they were sued. And they needed to show that that claim was actually correct. There was some kind of scientific study that they did, and that used the results in an ad. And so 5 years later, they needed to basically reproduce those test results. They were unable to do so because they did not have the data. They did not have the dashboard anymore. And so if they had version management, that lawsuit would have been very easy to resolve. And so we knew that Tableau has version control. I don't know if you've ever used it, but it has serious limitations. And so when we knew that we needed to do something more, we were looking for a partner that could build it for us. And it was just Wiiisdom was an obvious choice given our history with test automation and the quality that Wiiisdom has provided. And like Patrick said, I think last December has been the first time that we started talking about it. And then as soon as I think in February or so, Wiiisdom started to build it. And they have built something very, very well, much faster than Tableau could ever done. So I'm very happy to basically be now out in the open and say, hey, we now have version management through Wiiisdom. So I want to thank you, Patrick, for taking on this offer and bring something to the market. And hopefully what you're going to show today is not the end, and that you're going to build many more and support many more use cases in the future.
Well, thanks, Wald, for that. And this is exactly this. I'll share my screen in just a minute now. I'll do a 2 or 3 minutes demo before I go to my next amazing speaker. But yes, our objectives, our target was to come up with our first release of version control for Tableau at Dreamforce, which is where I met Matthew the last time. And yes, the objective, well, if we remember how it all started earlier this year, is how can we work with regulated enterprise kind of industries, the ones who wants to have unlimited versions, like you said, versions that have a real audit trails. You know, we're not allowed to delete old versions, and we cannot tamper it with anything, and especially the ability to preview any versions from the past, compare different versions, how things look like over time, and if there's anything that we need to roll back for whatever reason, we are able to do so. And again, while always providing all the details in an audit trails that we can give to auditors and regulators and so on. This is what I will be showing you today in the next couple of minutes. So I will just share my screen, and I would love one of my speakers to confirm that you can see my screen right now.
Yep.
I am told that you can see my screen now. So perfect. So this is the Wiiisdom Cloud Platform. And again, for those of you who don't know Wiiisdom, everything we do is no code. Everything we do is targeted at the Tableau personas, you know, end users, business users, people who are experts of their business and line of business and data, and are able to create this amazing content. Now, of course, IT people can use this, but we want to make sure that the simplicity around this. And what better to do than do automated version control? No need to check out, check in, commit, pull requests, resolve different things. And this is why we have come up with something called a version scanner. And a version scanner is nothing less than, well, a scanner, a robot that will make sure to monitor your Tableau sites. So there's many scanners here because I have many sites, and we can monitor your entire site. So you see, this is my own personal dev site, and I monitor everything. But this could be my production sites where I decide to monitor only some projects. When I have this in place, and it takes less than 1 minute to put in place, Wiiisdom will make sure to capture every time you publish a new workbook or every time you update an existing workbook. You have nothing to do. The scanner will do that for you. Now, as an end user persona, and this is the most important bit here, the end user persona, how does that work? We go to the version browser, and then as you see here, I will see my Tableau structure. Now, I'm an administrator on my Tableau structure. I see everything, but your full security model is, you know, followed, respected. And this is what's really important. Again, like Ewald says, we are, and Matthew, we are leveraging Tableau's API. So, you know, if you save things locally, oh, I manage my own versions and my own local structure and all that, that's, you know, it's not impossible. There are technical workarounds, and that's good. but you're no longer bound by the Tableau security model put in place. Whereas here with Wiiisdom, you are always, having the same security. And we see here, I'm the head of product here at Wiiisdom, so I have my product folder, and I have here my own projects. I have now this document. Now I'm using Tableau Cloud. Now, for those of you who know Tableau Cloud, you know that you are limited to 10 versions per document. Now, if you have a look, I have several different versions, like, I don't know, like 25 or 30 or something like that, several versions. And we see that my earliest version is back in August. And this is when my scanner was, introduced the first time. Now, just like you well said, in his use case, it was like 5 years in the past or something like that. But let's imagine anybody at a moment in time goes back and say, hey, September 25th in the afternoon, what was that document? And I can just go ahead in one click and preview and say, well, this is my workbook. And my workbook had two sheets here, right? And this is how it looked like at 4:20 p.m. on September 25th. And there was a couple of sheets, and this is how they look like exactly. And of course, we can zoom and so on. But the ability to preview any versions in time. October, what happened in October? Oh, in October, I introduced a new beta version. Well, here we go. We have the state of what the beta version looked like with, it turns out some filtered values here. Am I happy or not with that? But that's what it was back in October. Now, as I'm previewing versions and I'm saying, hello, Tim. Now, this is a shameless plug to Tableau, Tim. I did a presentation to Tim at Data Farm last week where I edited some documents and it automatically, generated a new versions. Well, what if I want to compare this version with another version? Because I want to understand what we have released and who did what. And now with Wiiisdom, we have a number of ways to give you information about what changed between versions. And in this case here, a visual comparison. We see that the title was Hello Tim. Well, the version live in Tableau right now, there's no Hello Tim, right? We're back from a development to a production. Or we see that here, I had fixed some filters for my region. No longer regions have older filters because the filters are different and the data is different. We see that there's other aspects. So Wiiisdom in this example of comparison here will show you anything that changed visually speaking. The font type, font size, colors, data, filters, titles, and other aspects of that with very, very simple click. Now, at any time I need to roll back, a simple click here, I can say restore this version and I'll say, okay, back to Tim. Here you go. Back to Tim, back to beta. I click on restore, and then what Wiiisdom will do is, of course, take care of restoring this version. This version will go back, automatically open in Tableau. But if I go back here in Wiiisdom, automatically November 19th, 4:54 here in France, the latest version, and then I have a full audit trail which comments that cannot be changed. Now, this is what Wiiisdom can offer you today in very, very few clicks. Now, if I go back to my slide, to my presentation, I wanted to, of course, introduce and go back to Russ here. So Russ is really well known in the community, and I could not wait to have Russ test and evaluate our pre-release product a few weeks ago. And I've asked him, Russ, I want your unbiased feedback. Tell us if it adds value, good, bad, what we can do better. And I wanted, please, for you to share your background and your opinion today.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for having me on. I've been a long-time user of Tableau, 10 plus years. I'm deeply interested in the analytics ops cycle and how that meets Tableau. So I've written some in-depth articles that have tens of thousands of views on this topic. I run a podcast called Unlocking Value with Data that focuses on the business outcomes from this. And I've really seen, I think somebody mentioned before, seen Tableau grow up from desktop software into full-fledged enterprise software, right? And along with that comes all of the things that you expect out of your enterprise software. And I've seen that in a couple settings. I built business analytics platforms for businesses to evaluate their own, performance, and also built embedded applications within Tableau that get extended out to third parties. So there's a lot of stuff that comes along with that we consider in the analytics ops world that are important. And one of these things is the version control piece of it. And I was really pleased to get hands-on and play with it. I like to sort of see what's out there in the market and get my hands on it and really run it through its paces. So I definitely have some thoughts on this. Number one, I was really glad that it was Tableau Cloud native, right? I didn't have to do a lot of different hoops or different things to get through to get it up and running with Tableau Cloud. We moved to Tableau Cloud for the better performance and lower overhead. So it was really nice out of the gate to see that it just integrates with Tableau. The setup was extremely quick. That's another thing that's really nice. It took me all of 2 minutes to get my credentials plugged in and have the scanners up and running. Really intuitive process. So kudos there for making it a very simple setup. And then you're addressing, several of the pain points that people talked about. I think about it from a developer perspective plus, managing a Tableau environment perspective. And right off the bat, the ability to have unlimited versions is great. I think about, the times in which you have enterprises in which multiple people are contributing to different workbooks, or you've made a lot of edits frequently, and then you're back to your desktop, trying to figure out where files are and who's got the, the last version of it, et cetera. So it's really nice to see that capacity get ramped up there and the ability to just really use that as the source of truth for what happened, right? You no longer have to figure that about multiple places. One of the really standout things to me is the compare feature. So the ability, as you showed there, to click on different versions and say what happened between these things and get a quick compare. That is a really manual, really difficult task to do in Tableau currently, right? You're opening up workbooks, you're sort of dancing back and forth between versions, you're trying to compare. As a time saver, that feature is really, really nice to have, right? It gives you more time back to focus on, the development and less on, what's going on with these features. The comments is really nice too, giving context to what happened, for having that. You've got a little kind of small field in Tableau that you can stack up with comments, but, pulling that out into its own place where people can read the history is really nice there. So those are all the things I really enjoyed about it. I was very happy to see, how full-fledged it was, how easy it was to set up and get running, and some of these key pain points where it's really starting to fill in the analytics ops lifecycle and the potential for it to expand even more. So I think, again, this is a key product filling in, some of those spaces which you have to go invent your own solutions or try to figure out how to work around it. So really happy with it.
Thank you, Russ. That was really nice. And just before I go to one more slide and then we go ahead for Q&As, because I do realize we are soon out of our scheduled time. Russ, you are running an awesome podcast, and I just wanted to make sure that you could do not a shameless plug, because I'm plugging you right now. So yes.
Yeah, it's called the Unlocking Value with Data podcast. We had Bruno from Wiiisdom on to talk about the solution as well, but we cover all kinds of topics in the data and analytics space and how people extract value from that. So you can get it on Apple Podcasts, you can get it on Spotify. We'd love to have folks tune in, listen, comment.
So what do we search for? What's the name we search for again?
It's called Unlocking Value with Data.
Unlocking value from data. Excellent. Before I go ahead with the questions, and just before we say goodbye to our speakers, hey, the speakers can stay around if they have more time, but I want to make sure we answer a couple of the great questions we received. Wiiisdom, we are doing one more webinar this year with the Tableau team, and this time will be with Senior Product Manager at Tableau, and we'll talk about a brand new Tableau migration app. So if you are if you're a company on Tableau server and you're thinking about going to Tableau Cloud, You have heard of the migration SDK perhaps before, that was released last year, but now Tableau has just released a brand new component called the Tableau Migration App, and it's free. It's amazing. So with Adi Askar, we'll do a live demo of doing a migration server to cloud with the app, and then we'll use Wiiisdom to make sure you test everything in under 1 minute. So amazing webinar, December 10th, 10:30 Eastern. You can use the QR code here to register. It is also on our website and LinkedIn page. And for those of you who will leave us right now before the Q&A, here's another QR code to if you want to get in touch. But before Q&A, Matthew, Ewald, Russ, if you have to go, because I know some of you have a hard stop, I just wanted to say thank you very much for joining. Thank you for your assistance. Thank you for your partnership over the last few months and years. It was great to have you here today. Any I don't know. Sorry, any last words if anybody wants to say any last words?
I just want to thank you for all the work that you're doing to make the Tableau ecosystem better. You're a wonderful partner to work with. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely the same. It's brilliant to see what partners community are doing to take Tableau to the next level. You know, I came from the partner community, so I just love to see this. This is fantastic.
Thank you very much. So, okay, let's have a look. There were a few good questions. Now, some people have picked that I was demoing on top of Tableau Cloud and says, is that also available for Tableau Server? Absolutely. So, although our version control solution is on the Wiiisdom Cloud platform, we have some of you here, I can see on the call, have already are customers of Wiiisdom. So we have two different software, one desktop on-premise, one cloud platform. The version control is on the cloud platform, and we do support server and cloud, absolutely no problem. So thank you, Danielle, for that question. Another question from Amir. Amir's asked, and this is an amazing question, and Russ, if you're still here, Russ, you asked me that same question. You said, is the solution able to track changes of calculated fields and custom SQL queries? Now, I would love to say yes, but this is something that is coming in early 2025. So absolutely. So we have the ability to do 11 different kinds of comparisons today: visual, data, filters, types, you know, a lot of different things. We don't do yet calculated fields in custom SQL. It is on our roadmap for 2025. Ross, it was one of the first questions he asked me. So great minds, great minds at the same place. So that's amazing. Now we have Tony. Tony has a question. Are the versions limited in time? I'm not sure what that question means, but if it means, are we keeping versions forever? Yes. When we spoke with Ewald the first time, Ewald was very clear. Our regulated industries are asking for unlimited versions. And as it is today, we take unlimited versions. We will give in the future capabilities if you want to maybe set limits and other things like that but at this moment in time, yes, unlimited versions, you cannot delete, so you can always go back as far as you would like. Now, if Matthew and Ewald have questions, I'm happy to answer questions live. We have not planned this, by the way. So, but yes, I'm happy to take live questions from, or if you have questions for Matthew and Ewald, again, we have not planned this. I'm sure they'll be very happy to answer.
Absolutely.
I actually have one question, Patrick.
I should not have done this. I may regret this thing.
So in my introduction, I said we hear both from the regulated industries as well as for developers. Developers are asking for Git capabilities. What are your plans for supporting Git?
I knew you were coming with this, so this is my own fault. So it is obvious that when you speak, especially developer communities or more like IT-led type of people, if you say the word version control, associated automatically is Git integration for sure. As you know, Ewald, we talk about this many times over the months. We chose to start to have an end user experience in mind. End users who don't know how to do command line Git integrations, don't know how to commit and resolve merging issues. We wanted the least amount of effort possible to do this automated and give that to non-technical users. Now, of course, we recognize that while we are serving these kind of personas, there's the more technically able developers, people who have Git internally already that would like to integrate with their own systems. And this is where in January, our next release, we will allow the ability to store the version control content outside of Wiiisdom, because of course of security and other regulations and all that. And we are looking in the future to look at using Git storage later in 2025. So this is not something for the short or medium term, but we know this is a persona that we want to serve and work with. But this is where we made a conscious decision to not start with this personas, start with another kind of personas. But yes, it's very important to address that. That's for sure. Yeah. Is that answering your question, Ewald?
Yes, it does, and it is actually funny that you said we're delivering it in 2025, and that is not a midterm solution.
What is midterm solution for you, Ewald?
If we can deliver something in 2025, that is a good short-term solution.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, I'm looking. Matthew, don't hesitate to step up. I believe we have one more question, and we are way out of time. So I appreciate for all the attendees still up here today. Will there be step-by-step instructions how to set this up? Okay, if you're and this is from I can see I can recognize the name here. This is from an existing customer. Yes. If you are on Wiiisdom desktop, this would mean going to the Wiiisdom Cloud Platform, and exactly like the Wiiisdom desktop product, it's simply using connected apps and personal access token. Full security, just like Russ said, under 2 minutes, you'll be up and running, and you have a scanner generating all of your versions. For the larger enterprise down there, we've been evaluating this with our partner communities with tens of thousands of documents in the gigabytes, and Wiiisdom is fully ready to leverage very, very large environments here. All right, that was the last question on my list. Last call for any of my
Patrick, I have a question for you.
Oh, yes,
I have a question for you. At a high level, where do you see the roadmap for this going over the next, let's say, 18 months?
Okay, well, this is actually a very interesting question. So we are a smaller company in Tableau, right? So we are really close to our customers and partners in terms of the requests they have from, well, for themselves or their own customers. So for instance, we only support workbooks today. We know full well that data sources is important. Tableau Pulse is important. But what is important? Is it the comparing, the rollback, the audit trail, all of the above? So as a smaller company, although we've been around for 17 years, we have a bit more, like Ewald alluded to, a bit more agility to focus on very specific things and deliver quickly. And this is what we want to do here. We want the people listening today saying, I want version control. I've been asking this for a very long time. It looks like super easy to implement. Good, get it. And then work with us about what's important for you, and we'll deliver quickly. So in terms of short and medium term roadmap, it's exactly that. It's about doing version control for more object type, working with the dependencies like subscriptions, perhaps, if you roll back. In January, you'll see a much wider audit trails and audit trails that can be downloaded and shared with other people. So that will come in January already. We have top secret, don't repeat to anybody here, some top secret ideas around recycle bin, but I know Tableau is coming with a few things, but we have a few things on our sleeves as well for recycle bin. So yes, for 2025, content type, dependencies, unlimited recycle bins of any object type, that sort of things that in terms of version controls, very specifically on the roadmap. Otherwise, on the side, we continue on our governance journey, automated validations, GXP and other regulator compliance things, helping people migrate to cloud. We have lots of things at Wiiisdom on our roadmap for the next 12 to 18 months. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity to participate.
Okay. There was one. Okay. Last question before we shut this webinar off from Matt. And I'm reading live here. I should maybe preview this, but in the roadmap you have you considered adding alerts if dashboards have been published without somebody applied that shouldn't be? For example, a user filter for a security. I read super quickly, but long story short, of course, Wiiisdom, we do automated validation, detecting things that people should not have done, alerting via Slack, Teams, ServiceNow, emails. We even have a patent pending content certification of data sources and Tableau workbooks or dashboards, more specifically. So yes, Matt, we have a lot of things to detect people publishing things they should not have done and alerting in a many number of ways, alerting the right people and even the end user through certification. So lots of things here. Matt, you have the QR code on the screen. Do get in touch. All right. Okay. I would thank you, Matthew, Ewald, for sticking around 13 minutes longer. Pleasure to have you. Have a good rest of your day. I'm in north of France. I have an excellent beer in the next few minutes. So I'm leaving you here. And all right, speak soon.